Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Mesaglio, and welcome to Top of Mind. On this episode, I want to talk about how you turn values into action. And the reason I want to talk about this is I'm having a ton of conversations with executives and leaders about values. And I think the reason is because there's so much volatility and uncertainty in the world that leaders want to be able to come back to something that really defines the identity of their enterprise or their team or their department, and that doesn't change. Even if the external world changes, even if there's a bunch of external shocks, values have a longer life cycle and aren't supposed to change. But values don't necessarily lead to concrete action. They can just stay as some nice sounding aphorisms that sit out in the ether and that we don't really apply in our day to day. So today I want to talk about how to turn values into action. So it's no wonder lots of leaders are struggling to define their values right now, and values are top of mind. Values are great. They're inspirational. They set a direction. They set a tone for the leadership. The problem with them is they're not that specific. They don't drive coherent action. For example, if I said, I really value healthy eating, I want to be healthy, right? Underneath that, if I didn't say anything else, then some of you listening might say, oh, Mary's going to go gluten free, right? She wants to be healthy. Someone else might say, oh no, Mary's going to go vegan. That's what it means to be healthy. And someone else might say, oh no, Mary's going to go on the all meat diet. That's what it means to be healthy, right? You can see how just saying this generic value, I want to be healthy, is inspirational and directionally good, but it drives really incoherent behaviors underneath it with people interpreting that differently and also just not canceling each other out, right? Not only that, if you leave it generic, then people can defend whatever they want under it and say that they're supporting your value. So like if I said I want to be healthy, on Monday, I live in Barcelona. Let's say a bunch of my friends are meeting to have a paella down on the beach. And I said I want to be healthy. And I go, gosh, I don't know if rice is a really good idea. But then I go, wait, the Japanese are some of the longest living people on earth. They eat a ton of rice. It must be healthy, right? And then on Tuesday, I say, I want to be healthy, but I just really feel like a hamburger. But wait, hamburgers have protein. That must be healthy. And I justify that. And then on Wednesday, I go, I just really feel like having some chocolate, which basically happens to me every day. And I go, oof, chocolate's not healthy. But wait, there's that article about how chocolate has 85% cocoa, and that's a superfood, so I can eat it, right? You can justify whatever you want under it. So that's not enough. I've never met a CEO who said to me, you know what, Mary, I just wish we didn't have so much agility. Like I wish my people weren't as good at responding to change. All CEOs, all business leaders, and for that matter, all government leaders seem to want more agility. And no wonder the external world is changing really fast and we need to be able to adapt. But if you take agility as a value at the top of this pyramid, that's not enough to drive coherent action. I don't know if I'm being agile right now. It's hard for me to apply that to my day to day. So you need greater and greater levels of detail. Underneath the top layer, which is the value, is the second layer, which is the default starting point. Anyone who wants their team or their department or their enterprise to espouse a value needs to also provide a default starting point. The default is not a rule. It's not something that you apply no matter what blindly. The default is a starting point that says, if you have no reason not to, here's where I want you to start. And it interprets the value. So it says, if I want agility, a default starting point is, if you're in front of a decision, I want you to take it when you have only 70% of the information, if you can reverse it. If you don't have to live with the consequences forever, take the decision when you have 70% of the information, not 100%, because we don't want to lose that agility. We want to preserve it. There's no reason to get to 100% if you can undo the decision, right? Or another default starting point to support the value of agility might be, we default to pushing decisions down the organizational hierarchy to the lowest viable level. So that doesn't mean everybody pushes every decision down to the intern, right? If you're a nuclear power plant, don't give the plutonium to the intern, right? And if you have information that only HR should have that you can't legally share, don't share it. But if you have no reason not to, try to push the decision making down so that senior management doesn't become a bottleneck and you don't lose that agility. So the value to action pyramid starts at the value at the top. It has this middle section, which says, what is the default starting point that interprets that value? But even if you have that, you still have theoretical ideas, right? How do you insert the values into actual day-to-day life? It's called the values to action pyramid because you want people to act differently, behave differently, decide differently. And to do that, you need the bottom layer. The bottom layer is hacks. Hacks are small, immediate, low effort, emotional changes that you insert into day-to-day work life, into meetings and emails and interviews and ops reviews and strategy discussions and training and onboarding and whatever else you're doing in your day-to-day. Hacks are small little actions that have an immediate effect that insert that value in some meaningful way. So if we said agility is the value that we want to espouse, the default starting point is we want to take decisions when we have only 70% of the information, not 100%, if we don't have to live with the consequences forever. Like if what Jeff Bezos used to call a two-way door, you can walk back through the door, you don't have to live with the consequences forever, you can reverse it, you don't need 100% of the data, just take the decision, right? Don't lose agility. And then the hack might be, we start every meeting by listing the decisions we need to make in that meeting. And then we figure out which ones are reversible, and we put a time limit on how long someone can analyze before they have to take the decision. We say, we need a decision in 48 hours. So you don't have time to analyze everything and get to 100% of the data. This is the values to action pyramid. Starts with the value, goes to this default starting point, and then finally ends up in the hack to insert it into the day-to-day. So that is the values to action pyramid, turning values into everyday quotidian action in your work life. If you're looking for additional resources, there are some in the description. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I promise to read them. Any questions you have, I'll read those too. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.